Let me just say about Joe Biden. I have. Hello to all my Divine Nine brothers and sisters, and my sorors. And to all my HBCU brothers and sisters.
Race baiting and fear mongering was a big part of her tactic tonight.
Part of Kamala's tactic?
Yes, Kamala's tactic.
Okay. What in particular would you remember about that?
Especially when she brought up the Central Park Five. I think that's a hot button issue, especially for a lot of African Americans, but she leaves out a lot of specifics to that. Like the lead prosecutor was a Democrat at the time. Back then, Donald Trump was also a Democrat. He wasn't always a Republican, and he was praised heavily in a good way for taking out that ad in the paper because a lot of people did think that they were guilty. So a lot of people that were against Trump now were once a big fan of his, and I think he was gaslit during the entire debate, and that was probably why he was so defensive. And even when he brought up the topic of race, he brought that up because she's pandering. She's using being black as a trope to get the black vote, but instead of her leaning into it, I would have liked to see her lean into the fact that, yes, I am a black woman, and this is my plan for Black America, but she clearly doesn't have a plan because she's essentially not black. But she used that as a moment to paint him as a racist.
And so I talked to 20 voters, not one of them was undecided.
Wow.
Not one.
Not one. And headlines come and go, but let me tell you this. Support for former President Trump is real and resilient. I encounter that everywhere I went. And that's something the Harris campaign knows, recognizes. It's a fact in Michigan.
Yeah. So as you guys just saw there, Kamala she's in some big trouble. She is in some major trouble. And I mean, the proof is in the pudding, right? Or the proof is in the eating, as Joe Biden would say. When you have mainstream media's coverage of one person, one candidate versus the other candidate completely flip-flop, where everything is positive for Kamala, but then everything is negative for Trump. And all of these polls who were inaccurate in past elections all have Kamala winning. I don't think it takes a rocket scientist to figure out what's happening here, but let's dig a little deeper. Democrats were trying to keep RFK Jr. off the ballot. Now, why is that? Because they know they don't have the margins to have anybody being pulled from their voting base, even if it's a smaller percentage, which it was. Once Biden got pushed out, most RFK voters were Trump supporters. I mean, there were probably, never Trumpers, a lot of them, in my humble opinion, because RFK Jr. is a Democrat. But they also were doing that to a woman by the name of Jill Stein. You guys recognize that name? Yeah, and I'm going to play this clip, and I have something else to get into here in just a second, because they're in some major poop right now.
Is the Democrats who bragged starting back in March that they now had an army of lawyers to basically exercise lawfare, looking for trivial details where they could do a gotcha and get us thrown off the ballot, violating the spirit of the law to basically eliminate their competition. They have also advertised publicly for infiltrators and spies to mess up our ballot drives. And they also hijacked our public funding, $300,000. I know it's not a lot in the scheme of what Democrats and Republicans run on, but we're a grassroots, people-powered, low-budget party. That public funding meant a lot, and that's part of the reason why we're not on in three states.
Sound familiar, doesn't it? They did the exact same thing to RFK Jr., which is why he finally said, you know what? I'm out of here. I'm done. I'm throwing all of my support behind Trump, and any supporter of mine, don't vote for me at all. Like, he came out and said this, and I showed you guys the video clip. Don't vote for me at all. I don't care if it's a swing state or it's a deep red state or a deep blue state. Don't vote for me. I want everybody to vote for Trump. Yeah, he's sick of it. He's tired of it. They did the exact same thing to Jill Stein. Now, why would they do such a thing? Why would they do such a thing? And here's a little bit as to why they don't want Jill Stein on any of the ballots, especially in the swing states. Check out this clip.
Survey from the Council of American Islamic Relations found that 40% of Michigan's Muslim American voting population plan to back Green Party candidate Jill Stein. 18% plan to support President Trump. 12% want VP Harris, and 4% plan to vote for Cornel West. This seems pretty significant, Kyle, specifically after more than 100,000 voters in Michigan in the primary voted uncommitted. Is this a massive red flag for the Harris campaign, given that there's only about 7 weeks until Election Day?
It is, and for a couple reasons. I mean, think about the mainstream coverage of Donald Trump and Muslims. It is 100% negative. And so the fact that this poll shows, and it's a CARE poll, which, you know, CARE does not like Donald Trump. But the fact that this poll shows that more Michigan Muslims support Donald Trump than supports Kamala Harris is, I mean, that is major. But then when you look at the top line of the poll, and it shows that 40% of Michigan Muslims support Jill Stein, to me, that is major red flags for Harris. And there's been a lot of coverage about the fact that is RFK going to be on the ballot? Is he not going to be on the ballot in Michigan? Cornel West, as RFK was put back on the ballot, Cornel West was also put on the ballot, and so he theoretically is going to take votes away from Kamala Harris. But she has a major problem with Michigan Muslims because they don't like what Biden has done. And she, of course, has, in their opinion, has not been outspoken enough. And so this is a very significant problem for her because there are hundreds of thousands of Muslims who are very paying attention to what is going on. And so I think what we'll see is that this is going to get worse if it ever gets better, because there was a group of uncommitted Muslims who wanted to sort of, you know, make their point in not voting for Joe Biden. Well, they have now sort of rebranded, and they are now considering themselves Abandon Harris, and they're actually looking at supporting another candidate. And if you look at the polling from CARE, their natural choice would be Jill Stein, because 40% that responded to the poll support Jill Stein. And so this is a storyline that I think cannot be understated, that it is very possible that this could cost Kamala Harris the state of Michigan.
Yeah. And I think that's why you saw some predictions where Michigan was slightly leaning Republican. And I just didn't understand it because I wasn't privy to that information. I had no clue about that information. And I said this in several videos too. I was like, maybe Michigan, but I don't think so, kind of deal. But maybe I'm completely wrong. They have tried their lawfare against Jill Stein and have absolutely lost. And in the case of RFK Jr., they lost against him as well because he was taken off of the ballot in, I believe, North Carolina and Michigan, I believe. And Jill Stein, as well as Cornel West, are on the ballot in both of those in Michigan. And here's a map of where Jill Stein is actually on the ballot. Deep green means on the ballot. So Michigan. And then if you look at Michigan for Cornel West, requirement met, on the ballot. They are both on the ballot in Michigan. They're also both on the ballot in Pennsylvania, which is going to be the big determiner of what happens in this upcoming election. North Carolina, yeah, they're both on in North Carolina as well. Nevada, he's not on Nevada's, and she's not either. Interesting. So neither one of them are on Nevada's ballot quite yet. She's in court there, and no write-in option. Interesting. Arizona pursuing official write-in status, and she is on in Arizona. Yeah, so they've got a major uphill battle right now Now, something that I also do want to show you guys is this, and this is very interesting. Now, I want you guys to take a look at this. So these are the most accurate pollsters from 2020, okay? The most accurate pollsters from 2020. Look at the most accurate. Trafalgar, Rasmussen, and Atlas. You know what all three of them have in common right now? They all have Trump projected to win. The most accurate pollsters from 2020, all three of them, the top three, all have Trump projected to win. As a matter of fact, here is Atlas. Boom. Atlas Intel right there. Projecting that Trump wins the election. Yeah. The most accurate from 2020 all have Trump winning. Now, and I know this isn't scientific, okay, guys? I will say that. This isn't scientific. But this video does come from a place in Pennsylvania. And I think it is quite interesting. Check it out.
Lochal's Bakery in Philly is holding their traditional cookie poll where they sell cookies of each candidate and track the results. Their latest tally, look at this, showing Trump leading by almost 5,000 cookies against the VP. That's a lot of sugar. Kathleen Lochal is the owner of that bakery.
So, yeah, I know that's not scientific. And to be completely fair, in 2020, I believe she did say that that Trump won that cookie battle, right, against Biden. But we know what happened in 2020. But then also, a lot of the polls in 2020 didn't even, I don't think any polls really in 2020 had Trump winning like we do now, with the most accurate polls having Trump winning and consistently winning. Rasmussen has had Trump consistently winning for quite a while now. Trafalgar has more recently had Trump winning, and then Atlas just came out a few days ago and had Trump winning. So the three most accurate polls from 2020, the top three all have Trump winning, which you didn't have in 2020. So I wanted to be transparent. I'm always honest, right? So I believe she did say that, you know, the cookie battle was lost by Biden in 2020, but I did want to add that little tidbit as well. So I think Kamala has an uphill battle right now. And, you know, the proof is all around us. Why would you want a second debate if you felt like you won, right? If you felt like you're winning this election, why would you want to put Trump back in the American people's face? Trump only gets stronger the more that you put him on, you know, in front of a camera. We know that. We've seen that. Why would any type of attempt on his life be happening if he was losing? You know, why would the coverage, media coverage, be so slanted away from him, right? And in favor, biasly in favor of Kamala. It's like 99% positive for Kamala and like 98% negative for Trump. Like, it's completely flip-flop. You know, like, the proof is all around us. Like, they're panicking. They are absolutely panicking. Why would you be trying to take Jill Stein and Cornel West off the ballot? If you felt like you had a comfortable lead, hey, they aren't going to affect anything, right? But they know that's not the truth. They know they are in some deep trouble. And as I said previously, I expect something crazy to happen. What that is, I don't know. But I hope I'm wrong. But what do y'all think? Let me know. Stay safe out there. Let's make sure we all get involved. Work at a polling location. Contact a guy like Scott Pressler, TPUSA. Get involved. We need door knockers. We need phone callers. Get involved in any way, shape, or form that you can. And also, come November, make sure you tell a friend to take a friend. All right? Let's all get out to the polls and do our part in getting Trump back into the White House. All right? Peace and love. I'm out.